it in a second. I know today is a Saturday. Okay, so super shout out to all of you guys that are on here. Hopefully you guys had an incredible day. Let me know in the comments what type of success you had today. If you got a customer, if you got a distributor, if you had your own personal success, maybe you struggled to get out of bed. I don't know, but what are you proud that you accomplished today? Put it in the comments and shoot some good energy to people. Let us know what it is that you are excited about. And then for all my leaders, if you can, go ahead and leave inside of the group for people to get on training. I think we've posted the 750 System US link so much on Facebook. Whenever I try to post the link, it blocks it. So that's a good thing though. So the link is on the flyer for everyone to post. Let me know in the comments if you got your ticket to the event. If you got your ticket to the event, say me. If you VIP, say me. If you got a customer, if you got a distributor, if you took your products today, put it in the comments. Let's put some energy in the chat, okay? I'm actually super excited to do this this training today. All right. And I think it's really going to help you guys a lot when it comes to manifesting that success that everyone is looking for. And so just the small things that we have, trained on or told people to implement in the organization, hopefully you held true to your word. Okay, hopefully you've got your 30 names written down, okay, from your book over the last, that was maybe 9 days ago. Is it not insane to you guys that it's January 20th? What happened to the first, right? What happened to the first? The hotel link, by the way, that link for the hotel will be available till the 24th. After that, you have to book your ticket through the hotel, so that price won't be available. So if you didn't get your hotel or you still need a roommate or something like that, you want to get that booked by the 24th. If not, you can still get your room. You just won't get it for that price. So that's something that I want you guys to pay attention to. Nakia said I scheduled for a vendor event and she has 50, let's see what she said. I have 50, even asked for a vendor asked for 50 sprays each to be on hand. Oh, wow, that's going to be a big purchase for you. I also had my sister make 3 posts on her page for me. I like that. I have my ticket. I did get VIP. I booked my flight, also rooming with someone. Gladiola, I like that. I still need the link for my other half to decide. My other half decided to come along. Somebody post the link. I don't know what link you're talking about, but if you're talking about the link for the tickets, it's in the back office. If that's what you're looking for, the ticket, you just go in your back office. She needs the link. Someone please post the hotel link in the messages for her in the chat so she can get her hotel booked. And again, leaders, if you can, go ahead and post in the team training groups, guys, so we can get everyone on here. And I'm actually super excited to train today and talk to you guys so we can keep manifesting this success. I'm going to actually start talking a little bit about something. So hopefully you guys have your pen and your notebook and your paper out. Okay. And we're going to do some mindset training today. So not a lot of technical training. We're going to do some mental training today. Right. And so I want you to pay attention to that, pay attention to this, and actually pay attention to what it is that I'm talking about, because it can really, really change your life. All right. I want you to pay attention to how old you are right now. Okay. I want you to pay attention to your age, right? And based on your age, one of the things that I've learned from Earl Nightingale is that people confuse age for wisdom. Okay. People confuse age for wisdom, meaning that you assume you're getting wiser as you get older. Okay. And assumption is always a bad thing. Okay. And so what John C. Maxwell teaches us is that you don't grow unless you're intentionally trying to grow. Okay. You have to be super intentional about growing. And if you're not super intentional about growing, you don't grow. And so one of the most dangerous things that we come in contact with as we hit our birthdays and our different years of our birthday, okay, is that we deal with a lot of times that we're in the same place that we were on our last birthday. Okay. And it's all mental. It's all mental. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second because I want to explain something to you, because you have to have an awakening of what the mentality of winning is. And it's not just a motivational conversation. This is the technical part of how you win. Okay. When I used to play basketball, they used to say it's 10% mental and it's 90%, it's 10% physical and it's 90% mental. And the older I get, I understand that. The older I get, I understand that. And so what we have to be careful of doing is going about our daily life, our daily routines, and not working on our mental. Because sometimes time is snatched away from us and we focus so much on all the busy work, as Twyler said the other night, or we focus so much on the technical stuff or the physical stuff that we almost make it like we need to make time for our brain. If you want to win in 2024, you've got to make time for the physical stuff, and the mental stuff has to be your number one priority. Now, I want to explain something to you, because when we talk about mentality, we are not talking about motivation. This is the assumption, but this is not what we're actually talking about. And so when you talk about the mental, it does not mean that you're motivated. It does not mean that you are inspired, and so you're working on your mental. That's not what that means. The mental is to understand that it's all a mind thing in the first place. Everything is about your mind. Everything is about your mind. And a lot of people that are trying to manifest to the next level of their life, you don't give your brain enough time. And until you have enough time to give your brain enough time, it'll be like you're on a hamster wheel and you can't understand why you don't break through. You cannot break through past who you are in your head. You cannot break through who you are in your head. Now, what happens is people try to change themselves from the outside in. That's not how you change yourself. You change yourself from the inside out. And so, what am I really saying? Well, if you want to lose weight, okay, and you say, well, I'm going to go to the gym. But if your brain is constantly telling you that you want this to eat and you're going to cook this and you're going to start again tomorrow, the problem is you're not mastering the mental. So you put a lot of focus on the physical and you can't understand why you're not breaking through to what it is you say you desire. I'm going to use network marketing for an example in this training tonight, because I do believe that we have a lot of future diamonds in the organization, but I do believe we have a lot of people who show up like they're a diamond, but they still have the mentality of just a customer. Okay. Now, we love our customers, but you are a leader that is on the training. And so what happens is, in order for you to break through to the next levels of success, guys, is that the mentality training starts as discipline, and eventually you begin to desire it. Okay. Mentality training starts as discipline, meaning that you don't want to do it. When you wake up in the morning time, if you do not allow yourself 15 to 30 minutes, okay, 15 to 30 minutes to get yourself together, okay, you're a train wreck waiting to happen, because you can't fix yourself from the outside in. You have to fix yourself from the inside out, okay? And so I want to give you a story, and then I want to talk about this training tonight that I created for you guys. And when you really understand this, a lot's going to change for you very, very quickly. Okay. And so I want to use the disciples as an example. I made a status about this a few days ago. I don't know if you guys read it, but we talked about where paradigm shifts come from. Okay. This is one of the most important trainings you'll ever hear in the 90-day run, what I'm talking about right now. You will not, a paradigm means that you have a new set of truth. It's a new set of truth. It's a new set of things that you believe. One of the reasons a lot of people struggle, okay, to manifest the success that they desire is because they won't follow until they understand, okay? And when you won't follow until you understand, the problem is now you delay your paradigm. Paradigm shifts happen from following. Paradigm shifts do not happen from understanding. You'll understand in time. But paradigm shifts happen from following. So we use the disciples for an example. I don't know any leadership classes or trainings where 3 years is enough to feel that you are qualified to lead a movement. But somehow Jesus was able to train his disciples for just 3 years. And after 3 years, they were equipped to take on the full responsibility of the entire kingdom. What happened over those 3 years to equip them? Now, I want you to think about your network marketing career. What happened in the 3 years to allow the 12 disciples to be equipped enough to be a leader on that level? The reason why Jesus spoke in parables is because he knew that they did not understand. But it wasn't up to them to understand, it was up to them to follow. And he understood that in time you would understand. Because what happens is activity increases belief. And so, as they were able to watch Jesus do whatever he was doing, their mentor, they were able to see that this activity is a set of truth. This thing that he's training or teaching us on, it is a set of truths. And so what did Jesus do? He sent them out to do the activity in order in order to start their paradigm shift. So there's times in the Bible where the disciples were trying to mimic certain things that Jesus was doing and they struggled with it. But they were able to come back and ask their mentor, so why was I not able to do this? Or how am I able to do this? And Jesus would give them the answers to it. The disciples were wise enough to understand that some activity that their mentor told them or their coach told them didn't yield the result that he told them that it would. But they were wise enough to understand that if it didn't yield the result of what Jesus said it would yield to them, there was some unbelief still in the brain. Now watch this. Not unbelief of what he was teaching, not unbelief of what he was teaching. They didn't even understand that part. He was still speaking in parables. They were still looking at the mentor with some type of doubt about him. There was something inside of them that was not thoroughly convinced, okay, about him. But in time, they gained respect for him. In time, they mimicked him. In time, they understood him. So if you want your life to change completely in 2024, number one is you have to have a mentor. Now, when you give someone permission to be a mentor in your life, meaning that you're going to submit, that is one of the roadblocks to people's success, that you're going to submit under their leadership, okay? Now, when you submit under someone's leadership, you're assuming, okay, through your discernment or however you judge people, you're giving this person permission to give you instruction. I want you to write that down. When you choose a mentor, you are giving this person permission to give you instruction. Now, we're going to tie the laws together because if you want to break through, you have to understand this. Once you give people permission to give you instruction, you have to understand that understanding what they're teaching or what they're training or where they're trying to take you, it will come in time. So you won't understand everything. Understanding comes from following. And in following, you experience a paradigm. Okay? That is the hardest thing that you'll ever get someone to do. When you build your network marketing business, As you see people's organizations grow, you see the volume growing. What you're really seeing is that their leadership, someone has submitted under them enough to say, I give you permission to lead me. Now we cannot break the law when we know one law. So what proceeds after that law? And the Bible says that obedience is better than sacrifice. What does that mean? Obedience is better than sacrifice. Well, the way that God put the scriptures together, okay, so when David was under Saul's leadership, Saul was not a man of God, but David was under Saul's leadership. The reason why it says obedience is better than sacrifice, he had to put the law in place. Let me tell you why the law had to be in place. The law had to be in place because sometimes you may fall under bad leadership. But he didn't tell you that he'll bless you just because you're under good leadership. He said obedience is better than sacrifice. So because David understood the law, he was God's favorite person. He submitted under Saul's leadership. Although Saul was not really a good man towards the end, he was jealous of him. But the promise of the system can't return void. So since obedience is better than sacrifice, when David gave Saul permission to lead him, no matter what Saul was doing, David still got the promise because he gave Saul permission to lead him. Is anyone following me? Okay. So when we say obedience is better than sacrifice, what we're really saying is don't when your mentor or your coach or whoever tells you to do something, you have to understand they're going to be wrong sometimes because no one's Jesus. But the promise is in the principle. Okay. People joke with me with this word principles and law, but that's the only way I've ever been able to experience any success. I just know the laws and the principles. So obedience is better than sacrifice. There's been times I had to sit under people or stay in situations that I knew I didn't know if I quite agreed with, but I knew that I didn't have permission to leave yet either. Is anybody following me? Okay. Have you ever been at a job or with a boss and you like, I can't stand them, or I do not want to work here? But something tells you, but it's not quite time yet. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? That feeling, what you hold true to is the law. And the law is whatever you do it as if you're doing it to the Lord. The promise is going to come to you. What you have to make sure you don't do, even in bad situations, is break the law. You have to follow the law. In order to follow the law, you have to know the law. Okay? You have to know the law. So I say that to say the disciples started following Jesus. Their paradigm happened in time. In network marketing, your paradigm is going to happen in time. There are going to be things that your coach or your mentor or whoever is going to tell you, okay? And it may not make any sense to you, but it doesn't have to make any sense. They know something you don't know. They understand, and I have never done a training on this, but if you haven't never listened to the book Psycho-Cybernetics, you should write that down. It's going to change everything about your life. Okay. There's 4 categories to this. Okay. So you have one category that is called unconsciously incompetent. Okay. This means that you don't know what you don't know. Like you just don't know it. So for instance, if I was to ask you, how do you cure cancer? We don't know. We don't even know what we don't know. So I can't even begin to have this conversation with you because I don't know. I'm unconsciously incompetent with it. I have no idea. Okay. That's where a lot of people start their network marketing careers. Then you go to the second phase, okay, which is consciously incompetent. Consciously incompetent means I see what my coaches are doing, but I still don't feel that I know how to do it or I'm incapable of doing it. So you consciously know what you're supposed to be doing, but you're still incompetent of doing it. So that's like saying, all right, I want everyone to do an event at their house on Saturday, and I want you to put 100 people in the room, okay? There's not a lot of people who can do that right now. So you're consciously incompetent, because we can say, well, this is how you put the people in the room, but you're not competent enough to do that yet. Okay. In phase 3, okay, you become consciously competent. Okay. Consciously competent. So not only am I conscious of what I need to do to be successful, I'm able to do it. Everyone is fighting to get to phase 3. So you got to know the information, then you have to build to be able to activate the information. That's how you become successful in network marketing. Okay. Now I want to just go over this with you really quick. Okay. It's all a mental game. It's all a mental game. Okay. Number one, your environment is a very, very, very important place. Your environment is not just your house. Your environment is not just your job. Your environment is what's in your phone. Your environment is your conversations. Your environment is, anything that can trigger thought is an environment. TV has its own environment. All those different things have their own environment. Now, what you're fighting for, if you want to make $10,000 a month, put in the comments how much you're trying to make in this industry of network marketing. I want you to really, I saw on Karen's Facebook, she had $25,000 a week, and she said it's everywhere. Okay. In order for Karen, okay, to do her $25,000 a week, okay, she has to become consciously competent. Okay. She has to know how to do it. Now, here's where you're fighting in your environment. Don't allow the external stuff to suffocate you to the point that you can't get to what it is that you want. So if TV, okay, TV, friends, okay, family, your house, okay, spouse, whatever it is, all of these things, when you dissect them, at the end of the day, how did any of this play a part on getting you over to $25,000 a month? I'm just using her for an example. Okay. And the number one problem that we have is people think they have time. So today was the 20th. Okay. Today was the 20th. And if I was to ask you to dissect right now in your environment, what was parallel to pushing you over here to be consciously competent for this income? Like, what did you learn? What did you hear? Or what did you do today to make you consciously competent of $25,000 a week? So how can we scale this to see if I know if I did anything? Well, what new law of or instruction do you have that would make you make $25,000 a week? If your goal is $10,000 a month, how do I know that you move closer to become consciously competent enough to make that type of income? Well, what did you do today that moved you over closer to $25,000 a week? What did you do? What book did you read? What conversation did you have with a mentor or a coach? What training did you go find on YouTube? What conversations did you have with your team? And so, in order to get over to consciously competent for this type of income, you have to intentionally, you don't grow on mistake, guys. Growth is intentional. What I want you to do with your goals that you have in network marketing, I don't want them to be broad. I want them to be specific. The reason they have to be specific is because you have to know what you're looking for. You have to know what you're looking for and what you're supposed to be asking that's pushing you towards being consciously competent of the opportunity that you say you want. So over time, what starts to happen is that you build up all this stuff. Okay. You build up all of this stuff. You got books, you got conversations, you got all type of stuff that has built you up. Okay. That's built you up, books, okay, trainings, okay, coaches, mentors, YouTube videos, conversations, team calls, mission statements, okay, pictures in your house, screensaver. This is equipping you, okay? This is equipping you to become competent for what it is that you say you want. But you don't get to, time doesn't push you over here. Time doesn't push you over here. What pushes you over there is wisdom. And so the reason you want to be intentional with what it is that you want, because you have to know the right questions to ask. When I added in my life that I wanted to make $1 million a month, when I went on YouTube, I would research, how do you make $1 million a month? I didn't research how you make a lot of money. I didn't research how you make uh, $1 million in a year. I research, how do you make $1 million in a month? I have to become competent enough to be able to actually make that income. And if I'm not the person in the inside for that type of income, I'm not going to make it. You can want it all you want. You can want whatever. That doesn't change if you qualify for it or not. The question is, are you equipped for it or not? How do I become equipped? You become equipped by asking. What did the disciples used to always say to Jesus? Master, they never understood. So they would always ask him questions, because I'm telling you something, the unlocking of your future is in the questions you ask. One of my friends, he made $50 million in network marketing. He was doing $1 million a month. And sometimes with your friends, you don't want to, kind of, not, it's not fanning out, but you build these relationships with them. And so you somehow come out of the curiosity state with them, because it's like they're your friends. You don't know if you like, you don't, it's not that you don't honor them. I honor all my friends, but you get comfortable with them. So yesterday, 2 days ago, I said to him, I said, why do you like network marketing so much? Like remember this, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys understand how powerful this is on the level I feel it, but I know ask the right questions to the right people. And I said, well, why do you like network marketing so much? It's like, you're just like obsessed with it. Because a lot of us struggle with, I like network marketing, but I don't know if I like it, especially when you're really trying to win in this industry. And he said to me, he said, I don't know if I like network marketing so much. I like people. Okay. Now, this is someone who's qualified to answer my question, because he's made $1 million in a month. And the shift that I had is, I always say I don't like people. Now, I like people, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan of people. I mean, I still got to pray on that, because when he said it, we were on FaceTime and I was like, I literally said, why? Like, what have people done where you like them so much? And he started laughing and he said, well, I know it's a gift. And I know that that is something where if I didn't ask my friend that question, my mentor that question, I would not even known that that was a block that I have for $1 million a month. Because you can't not say that you don't like people and do that, because that's not the rules. So immediately, by the right question, I changed what I was saying. And even when I pray now or in my affirmations, I tell God, thank you for giving me a heart to like people. Now, I don't know if I'm throwing up when I'm saying it. I don't know. Okay. But like, I had never heard anybody answer a question, and he was so serious. And I was just looking at him like, what? But that question allowed me to be conscious about what it takes. Sanisha, you say you want $1 million a month and your friend has made it before. The one thing that he says has him at $1 million a month, you say the exact opposite. Of course, you haven't hit it yet. You can't say that. You see the power of the question? And so now I know, and I've added to my affirmations. I'm so happy and grateful that God has given me the heart, the compassion, the capacity, the mentality to love people and to like people. Like some of y'all might not struggle with that, but that's never been anything I've said is that I just like people. Okay. But I'm learning. Okay. But I'm learning that that is what it takes in order to be successful. Now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do something. Based on the income that you want to make, what question do you have? And I want you to put it over in the messenger. Based on what you say you want, what question do you have? And I'm going to answer a few of those questions because I think it's interesting to see how people know when people start to figure out what their block is from where they're trying to go. Now it's all mental. We're going to tie it into each other. But I know for me, you can't, I mean, I've said that plenty of times, I don't like people, but that's a big wall to where I'm trying to go next. What question, if you could ask me any question about your future, okay, and income and all of that kind of stuff, what would you ask me? I'm going to answer 4 or 5 of them. What would you ask me? And let me explain something to you. If you struggle with the question to ask, okay, if you struggle with the question to ask, it is because you haven't been digging deep and searching hard enough to figure it out. Like when you want something, Eric Thomas said a long time ago, when you want something as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you're going to be successful. If it's still an option for you, it's not going to happen. If you never wondered, how people are doing what it is that they're doing, it may still just be an option for you. Okay. All right, I'm going to answer a few of these questions. Okay. Nina says, who do I need to become to earn 150,000 off my work ethic? Is not the issue. My work ethic is not the issue. What are some of the activities I need to be doing to earn $150,000 a month? The highest income I've ever earned in a month was 220,000. Your work ethic is very, very powerful. The only thing that I would say for you is that now that you're looking for it, it'll happen. You were looking to be good and you had an income and you make it, but now that it's intentional what you're trying to do, you'll get it because as you are intentional about it, it's intentional about you. So I think just, Googling how every day, just see it. Start looking at testimonies of that's what I started doing. And I learned that from Houghton Bugs because I never cared about the rah-rah. Like when somebody's giving a story, I was like, oh God. And he told me, I was listening to one of his trainings and he said, when he got to $1 million a month, he said, I wasn't listening for wisdom and teaching and training. He said, I was listening to stories. And so in that, with that 150,000 you want to make, when you start YouTubing and Googling, just all kind of, not just in network marketing, just people in general, I made $150,000 this month. You will start to see, it'll just start appearing. And you'll be like, where are these conversations coming from? But it's because you're intentional about it. Where did you go wrong in network marketing? 2 places I went wrong. Number one, I was in my own way for the longest time. When you get older and you almost embarrassed for kind of some of the stuff you used to say. I used to think it was very dumb to have a mentor. Like I never understood why people said my mentor, my mentor, my mentor. And so I remember getting on stage before and saying, I don't believe in mentors. Thank God I was only at the level that I was at the time, but I was going against what the laws of network marketing was and success. So number one, I was very full of myself. Like I just had all the answers and I would not humble myself and do what someone else would say. Number two, I believe that I would always, I don't believe, I know that I would kind of be all in, but not be all in. Like I'm gonna do it. Nah, I'm not gonna do it because I was looking for a feeling. And then I realized that this industry has nothing to do with what you're feeling. It's discipline. And then discipline turns to passion. So I didn't wake up every, I'm going to recruit people and have a big team and do trainings. No, I did not feel like that. And at a young age, when I didn't feel it, I would slow up. But now that I'm older in the industry, I know that just because you don't feel it doesn't mean you don't show up, because discipline just turns to passion. And sometimes the emotion stemming from your passion isn't excitement. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes I'm old, but it doesn't matter because I'm disciplined. Okay. I'm disciplined. So showing the plan, presenting the opportunity to people, working on my mental. I have had the success that I've had in network marketing because of this. I knew how to train this. And because I trained this, it allowed me to have the success I have. What is really required to earn 10K per month? I think you know. The question is, will you do? I think you know. The question is, will you do or not? Okay. And the number one thing that I would say, because $10,000 a month in network marketing is easy to make. The reason why people struggle to make it is because they won't pay the price of the basic stuff. $10,000 a month does not require a lot of intelligence. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of consistency. And that is what people run away from because discipline and consistency becomes mundane. And mundane things are very boring and you get over them. But if you get to the $10,000 a month, because you're only going to get to $10,000 a month through discipline. Once you get to the $10,000 a month, the discipline turns to passion. And you realize that if I got to $10,000 a month, I could get to $50,000 a month. But you won't ever get to $10,000 a month without the discipline of the mundane, the boring stuff that people say. I'll answer one more of these questions. How do you have the time to mentor your team? The team is my income, and sometimes I feel I don't have the time to mentor the amount of people I need to hit that goal. So the powerful thing about network marketing, I don't do a lot of personal mentorship either. I don't have enough time to do it. There's no way that I could. But let me tell you something. The people that you're supposed to personally mentor, they reach out to you. And people who are not reaching out to you are not looking for mentorship. Now, sometimes they just may not want to bother you. There's several reasons why people don't reach out. But when you're really desperate for something, you're not worried about who you're bothering. So for me, I'm always able to dissect who I need to pick up the phone for, have conversations with by how they reach out to me. So your personal people who get personal mentorship from you, they do everything that you ask of them. They're always at the events. They're any goal that's set out, they try to do it. You see them showing up for themselves. And once you see people showing up for themselves, then you can show up for them. But a lot of times, especially women, we do it backwards. We try to show up for people and hope they show up for themselves. And when you do that, you end up wasting a lot of your future because you can't turn people into who they're not. Okay. Are you following me? Okay. So number one, guys, is environment. Now watch this. This is crazy. I've been learning this stuff. Okay. Number two is thinking. Let me tell you the danger. Like this is like real. This is not an idea I have. This is the truth. The danger of thinking big and never moving your feet. Watch this. This has been proven in psychology. The danger of thinking big and never moving your feet or allowing your body to obey what you're thinking kills brain cells. When you allow your body to act opposite of your brain, you kill brain cells. Well, what you mean? You're training yourself to not need your brain. You're training yourself not to. When you do the opposite of what you know you're supposed to do, when you do the opposite of what you're thinking, when you do the opposite of you say you're going to do this and you don't do it, when you get really good at doing the opposite of what you're thinking, You literally shut down a part of your brain because you're telling your brain, I don't even need you because it don't matter what I'm thinking. My body's going to do whatever it wants to do. Do you know that that is a huge onset of depression and anxiety in the world today? Because you put yourself in constant torment. You think something and you do the opposite. You're doing something and think the opposite. You're tormenting your body and your mind. I'm gonna work out today. No, so when you train yourself to say, I'm gonna go work out today, and you think it, and you don't go work out, you're not listening to yourself. So why would anybody listen to you? One of the reason why we themed 2024 all about you, if you don't listen to you, why would I listen to you? Think about that. Everything is chasing us spiritually, guys. It's not a game. I'm telling you, it's not a game. There is not a better way for you to pitch the product. There's not a better product. There's not a better comp plan. It's mental. But people don't have time for the mental stuff. There are people on this Zoom call that I've called that I love. And I've said, I could not take you any further than where you are right now because I'm not a brain surgeon. And because I'm not a brain surgeon, I can't get in your mind to change who you are. And now what happens, especially, when I'm training, I'm not always teaching people to use it for network marketing. However, some of us have been in network marketing for so long. We've trained ourselves so well to get off of these trainings and not do what was asked of us. We trained ourselves and tormented ourselves on content training classes. You get off too lazy to take the time to do what you learned. And you're tormenting yourself. That's why you get over it and you're exhausted. Like, well, I don't know, I'm not making any money. Yeah, because you don't listen to you. It's not even you don't listen to the coach. And that is why the most disciplined people in this organization, you think people would say stuff like, she just do anything that she say, or she's obsessed. No, people who listen well, listen to themselves also. Great listeners first listen well to themselves. So for me, I never really take it personal when people aren't listening to me, because I know you don't listen to yourself. Because if you listen to yourself, you would listen to me. So in 2024, one of the most important things that you're going to have to control is your thinking. You do not want to train your body to not need your brain. Because it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse, and it follows you to every area of your life. It just follows you. You don't need it. When you get on these trainings and they're teaching you and you go, well, I don't know. It's fine, but I'm just saying you're training yourself first not to listen to you. Let me tell you how tormenting it is. It is. Imagine getting on the 90 days of training. This is insane, actually. Imagine getting on the 90 days of training and you sit here and you hear instruction. Some people start mental illness while on the training because you're contemplating in your mind if they know what they're talking about or not, or you torment yourself because you know you're not going to do it. You're just sitting here listening, retaining information. You're training your body and your name and who you are. You're training yourself not to listen. You're training yourself not to listen. It doesn't matter who's training, you're training yourself not to listen. So I'll get on here pretending. That's what you're doing, you're pretending. One of the things that's the most dangerous things to people's success is imposter syndrome. You've never showed up as who you are for real, not one time yet. Well, what you mean? Well, when you get on the training and someone's coaching you and you get off the training, you have no intention to even start to do what they told you to do. You're tormenting yourself. You're training your body to not listen. You're training your body to not need your brain. You're training your body to move in the opposite of what it is that you desire. And before we know it, 5 or 10 years go by and we can still blame other people. And we've never taken accountability that over the last 5, 10 years, I may have acquired a mental illness. Mental illness is on the highest that it's ever been. And a lot of people are causing it. Don't think just because I have a cousin that's a schizophrenic. Have you ever seen someone who's a schizophrenic? It's scary. But there's functioning, just like there's functioning alcoholics, there's functioning schizophrenics as well. Well, what do you mean? You're two different people. Now, I'm not diagnosing anyone because I want you to diagnose yourself. Do you allow yourself to pretend so much that your brain is completely numb to the information that you need to be successful? Have you trained yourself so well that you can sit on trainings or hear information to better your future, get off the training and do the opposite? Most of the time, this will follow you in your life. That's why it's dangerous. This is network marketing, but I'm trying to give you life skills as well. Eventually, you train your body that you don't need your brain. Eventually, you train your body. Watch this because it's spiritual too. You train your listening skills to listen to irrelevant. This is when people who like to call and gossip and complain, you're training you guys that listen to the gossip and the complaining, and you shut out your coach and you shut out your mentor. You're training your brain to repel positive information and to look for negative information. And so if you wonder why you always get the call, it's because that is what you feed into. Your brain will manifest whatever it is you want. And since your brain will manifest whatever it is you want, if you're the complaining group of gals, if you're the complaining group of guys, if you're the one who have an opinion about everything, you'll always get the revelation of opinionated conversation. You'll never get the revelation that will move you forward because you've trained yourself that way. Is everyone following me? Yes or no? Now, this isn't just for to go diamond. This is real life. If I'm searching for the cure for cancer and I'm looking for it and I'm adapting all the stuff that they say, my brain is shooting out signals to find me the information. That's what I'm looking for. But if I'm more interested, well, 1 in 3 people catch cancer and it's in the family, it's hereditary. You're training your brain to find that and it will find it for you. Be careful. Be careful who you communicate with. Be careful who you listen to because it's training your brain to find that information. Now, number 3 is activity. A lot of people may have a struggle because the activity that you've been doing is opposite of what you're thinking. I give an example. You don't want to torment yourself. I told you to write 30 names down every day since the last time I did the training. 10% have done it. The other 90, I'm not going to even ask who did and didn't. The other 90% haven't had the time, okay? Or you've had the time, but it's just not that important to you. Don't think that I'm talking about activity of the do. I'm talking about the danger of doing the activity of doing the opposite of what's been heard. You are training your body to act opposite of what you need to do. Eventually, the subconscious takes over. And before you know it, you get into a slump that you cannot pull yourself out of, but you've trained yourself to do this. You've trained yourself not to write the 30 names. You only have to train yourself for so long before you become an expert at it. It starts with the 30 names, and before you know it, you can't follow the instructions of anything. And you wonder how you got so good at not following instructions anymore. You trained yourself to be like that. You are expert at it. And the better the information is for your future, the more you repel it because you're an expert at it. So if you go the opposite of what you should be doing, you'll always go the opposite of what you should be doing. And you wonder why you're depressed, why you're anxious, why you're in a slump. I don't know if this for me. Can you tell him to take my card? I know, because you've trained yourself to be that person. You're an expert at it. Well, my upline don't. No, you're an expert at it. It's not just in this situation. I could probably go into your marriage and see that you act the same way. Who you really are is in network marketing, but it's who you are in real life too. If you ever feel, and we all feel it sometimes, but if you ever feel anxious or depressed, I guarantee you're allowing yourself to act opposite of what you're thinking. You're allowing yourself to sit on these trainings and be tormented. Well, what do you mean? I know they're telling me stuff that require activity. Remember that obedience is better than sacrifice. I've trained on this before. I'd say it's better to not get on the training if you know you're not going to do it. Because where the word falls, you're responsible. Okay? And since where the word falls, you're responsible, when you can so easily do the opposite of what you're thinking. You know, when you think of even sicknesses and disease, you have to train your brain. If your whole life you've mastered doing the opposite of what you're thinking, you've trained your body. This is way bigger than network marketing. You've trained your body to do the opposite of what you believe in your thinking. Now, when the doctor gives you a report, now it's getting serious. The reason why network marketing is so powerful is because it trains your brain. Now, when the doctor gives you a report that you're a type 2 diabetic, or you have stage 3 cancer, or whatever it is, now you want to use the laws of thinking. The problem is you're such an expert at doing the opposite of what you think, you're going to have a hard time breaking that wall down because you are professional at doing the opposite of what you think. And now you need a miracle. But how could we perform a miracle when your entire life you've mastered doing the opposite of what your brain is telling you? So they teach you to watch these visuals to heal yourself and all this kind of stuff. I remember when I was younger, I got the revelation of that. You have to train your faith in not so serious situations so that when serious situations occur, you know how to activate it. Imagine how scary that is. Like you really trained your body to not listen to your brain. So now you've got something serious that you're trying to manifest, and you want to manifest a healing or whatever it is. And your body's going, but wait, we don't work that way. Remember? We do the opposite of what we're thinking. Even now, as many trainings I've done with you on laws and systems, where is your spiritual gravity falling from? It's falling from something that you are doing. You, as a leader, it starts from the inside. When you think something, you are responsible to do it, and it's time sensitive. Because now what we have to do is we have to work up out what you subconsciously trained yourself to do. You've subconsciously trained yourself all these years that you'll do it tomorrow. You subconsciously train yourself. And listen, some people are expert. It doesn't mean you do this in all areas. You may have just brought this subconscious training to your network marketing career. You just don't do the network marketing stuff. You may be a professional in your corporate job. I don't know. This information is for you to use. But what I do know is that when you train yourself like this, now you have to train yourself out of it. And it's not easy. The reason it's not easy is because the only way something changes is through repetition. First, it starts as a discipline and then it turns into a passion. Don't confuse consistent people with that they just are so motivated. No, that's not what it is. They're just disciplined. And then you start to live a way of living where you get to see where discipline takes you. And so then you get addicted to the discipline. But some of you have not listened to yourself long enough to even experience where discipline can take you. I'm telling every single one of you, I don't care how old you are. If you were to just click the switch of discipline on, you would be surprised how fast everything changes for you. Discipline simply means I am going to do what I think. I'm going to do what I know I'm supposed to do. And you need to make a commitment to yourself that I am never going to do the opposite of what it is that I am thinking if it's going in a positive direction. Why would I? Why would I train my brain, train my body to not need my brain? I'll say this and I'm going to stop. So when it's all said and done, okay, when it's all said and done, here's the danger to it all. The danger to it all is that you don't want to get to the point where you completely kill the connection that your body has to your brain. Have you ever heard the saying, some people, everybody dies, but not everyone lives? You ever heard that before? That happens when your brain is completely unnecessarily now, spiritually and naturally, to what it is that you do. Don't do that. It's too risky. It's too risky. You don't want to die. And I think one of the things that helped me is when they said, well, what if you died and instead of a heaven or a hell, there was this movie you had to watch back of yourself. And you get to watch it from your childbirth all the way to the end. How entertained would you be? How many obstacles would we see you overcome? How many times would you get to see yourself crying and still going anyways? How many times will you be able to experience that you tapped into the power of the law and you tapped into the power of the scripture and you started to recognize that there was like a routine to manifestation and you get to watch yourself manifest all the things that you desire? How many times would you get to see it? And for all of you, and for all of you, okay, for some people on the training, this is the training where you've become consciously competent because you know now that when you do the opposite of what it is that you're thinking, you are numbing your body to move according to how you think. And faith without works is dead. So when your body becomes numb to what it is that you're thinking, it's almost impossible for you to manifest anything. For all of you in your career right now, especially the leaders that are on here, that are frustrated and it's like, like I just need to break through this. Like I want to get past this part that I'm at right now. And you're struggling to do it. I'm going to tell you where the struggle is coming from. I know the feeling. Okay. When I was in my this was like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, a year and a half ago. And even I can remember when I wanted to make $100,000 a month so bad. It was so irritating because I just didn't know what the problem was. I realized there's three things I'm gonna leave you guys with, and you should write this down and you should practice it. Okay. For every level that you want to go to, you have to know how to pray on that level. For every level that you want to go to, you have to learn how to pray on that level. Now, it doesn't mean like, no praying does not is a discipline. They've made us think like when people can pray, like when I was younger, we used to have these things called shut-ins where we would go to church for a whole day and we would have to pray. And I would be looking at these adults like, how are y'all praying that long? Like I would be thinking about Sesame Street, or like I can't focus that long. But the older that I've gotten, this is what I know about prayer. Prayer is just a discipline, and then it becomes a desire. Okay. So there's nothing wrong when it feels like I'm not going to pray because I really don't have anything. It's nothing wrong that you feel that way. That's how it starts off, that you don't know if you have anything to say. But what you do is you get on your knees anyways, or you sit in your chair anyways, or you go in your closet anyways, or you sit in the car for 15 or 20 minutes anyways, and you discipline yourself to pray. Remember when the disciples fell asleep when Jesus was about to get crucified? Prayer is not always fun. They make it seem like that. Like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I just didn't get that part because prayer just seems so boring to me. What are we even talking? It's a discipline. And then it turns into a passion. So if you feel empty or don't know what to say, it's because it's a discipline. You have not trained yourself to pray yet. But that should be your number one goal in 2024, to train yourself to pray every day. And then all of a sudden it becomes a passion. Number two, for all my leaders on here, if you're a future one, if you're looking for an explosion in your business, remember that the paradigm shift comes from following, understanding comes later. Anytime you want to skip the process of following, you're going to delay your paradigm. There is no way for you to access your desire without a paradigm shift. Okay. And so, since there's no way for you to access your desire without a paradigm shift, you have to follow well. And following will proceed, okay, for you to get the paradigm you need for what it is that you want. The last thing is, how do you break through now? Like Stanisha, I hear all these words. I hear it all. You sound good. It sounds good. But I still feel heavy, or I still feel like what I like to call spiritual gravity on me. Like I'm still not sure if I can do it. I'm still not sure if I got it or not. Like, how do I know that I got it? Have you ever been confident in your life before where you knew you could do it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's been certain situations where you feel clear, you feel good, you feel motivated, you know you can do it. That feeling you felt came from your thinking and you acted upon it because you felt like you could do it. Your thinking needs to shift in your environment of what it is that you say that you want, in the activity that you do every day that's identical to what it is that you're thinking. It shatters all disbelief. It will bring the clarity. It will bring the confidence. But if you're looking to be confident before you get started, you're never going to get started. And don't torture yourself pretending like you're confident. If you're not confident, you're not confident. Don't torture yourself showing up on social media acting like you're giving it the best that you have. Because I'll tell you something. There's people who post once or twice a day or a week on Facebook that's making more money than people who post 20 or 30 times in a week. What's the difference? It's just mental. Whoever you believe that you are. And if you don't believe it in your heart yet, you have to believe it in your head. It's a discipline. What do I mean? You have to take time to think about being this person. You have to take time. Eventually, what's in the head will go to the heart. Once it's in the heart, okay, you will become it. But you have to force with discipline the thinking patterns of who you desire to be. This is why mentor is important. Force to be this person that you say you want to be. And when you force the thinking by discipline, like if I tell you to picture yourself on the stage in front of 1 million people in an arena, you may be like, okay, girl, that's okay. That does not take away your permission to imagine. Because what happens if you could discipline yourself to not feel it in your heart, but see it in your head, eventually they take over. And it pushes that vision to your heart. And then once it's in your heart, it's real. So the force is to get it to your heart. How do I get it to my heart? I get it to my heart through repetition of thought. Do you got it? Think, meditate, pray, whatever you have to do to think yourself to the next level. Listen, did you guys enjoy that? Did you take something away from it? Say yes. Okay. Say yes. I want you to practice, guys, using your mental to take yourself to your own promised land. You got to see it. You got to speak it. It takes discipline. It's not a feeling. The passion will come later. The passion will come later. The discipline comes first. The feeling fearful and going anyways. To not feeling it in my heart, but disciplined enough to see it in my head. Okay, I want to make $10,000 a month in network marketing. Who has a check for $10,000? I'm going to stare at it. And even though I'm staring at it, I have no connection to it in my heart. I'm going to practice it in my head and I'm going to visualize myself taking it to the bank. I'm going to visualize myself. I'm going to go on Amazon and put $10,000 worth of product in the cart. You start practicing it. I'm going to put $10,000 worth of stuff in the cart. Can't afford it right now, but it's going to feel, you start to practice that that's normal for you. You can spend 10,000. Got to practice it. Okay. So I'm grateful for you guys. Listen, we're going to have so much fun in Orlando, Florida. I know you guys are, if you're thinking about going there, you need to be there. Super excited for all the silvers. And I just want to give my girl, Miss Jerry, a shout out. She is diligently on the training. Diligently on the training. I know she's writing her 30 names down. She gets creative with her posts. And I think that she is 73. How old are you? 74. Okay. If she can do it, Miss Carol, how old are you? Okay. We got people on here, guys, that are proven to us, okay, that we got what it takes. Okay. 67. We got what it takes. But I see you every training and you sit there so diligent and you look good and you on the Facebook lives and you are just showing out. And I always pray to God when I see at 74, I ask God to give me grace to see that age, but you are absolutely awesome. And we all appreciate you. Give her some love, guys. I'm a super fan of her. I think we have, is Miss Glad, how old is Miss Gladiola? We got some wise people on these 73 years old. 73 years old. I might be missing someone else who sits here diligently. Okay. Cindy is 68 years old. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So whenever I'm screaming, I'm not talking to y'all. Okay. I'm talking to them. Okay, because I know you guys are doing what it takes to be super successful in this opportunity. Brenda Morgan is 76 years old. Okay, grateful for you guys. Grateful for you guys. All right, I'm grateful for you guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.